Good Monday afternoon, evening, Tallahassee. I'm student meteorologist Joshua Rivas.
And I'm student meteorologist Matthew Reagan.
And what a wonderful day it was today. I don't know about you, but I was thoroughly enjoying today.
Yeah, those temperatures rebound very nicely from those near and below freezing temperatures we saw this morning.
Absolutely. The airport reached 30 degrees this morning, but we didn't. Here at FSU, we didn't.
Yeah, that's one of the main things that we can see is that 10-degree difference from the metro area to the airport.
Absolutely. And on some other days, you'll see FSU colder than the airport sometimes. It just depends. It's that elevation difference we have between the airport and here at FSU.
But in the meantime, we rebounded nicely. We're now in the 60s now, but Halloween was this past weekend. Did you have a good time out there?
Absolutely, I did. There was no rain to talk about. Clear. Well, actually, you could see some clouds right now. I looked up in the sky on Halloween. Of course, I had to. And there was some clouds around. You could see the front passing through, but then afterwards, the wind picked up.
Yep, the wind was definitely blowing out there this past weekend, especially on Saturday.
Absolutely, we had like gusts up to around 30 miles an hour. And when it blew, it ripped right through you. It didn't matter what you had on, it ripped through you because the cold air was there.
Yeah, the wind chill was really the worst thing that we had this past weekend. But now we're rebounding into this week, and we'll be talking about that more later in the
Absolutely,
show.
but yeah, I had to tell you that yesterday, still low 60s, still a little bit chilly, but it was not a cloud in the sky. So dry and so comfortable right now this time of year.
Absolutely. It was definitely chapstick weather out there. But for now, I'm going to tell you a little bit more what's going on outside. We're looking at 69 degrees out there right now, and it's definitely chapstick weather, as I said earlier. So your lips are dry. That dew point is really low, and humidity is low as well. And the winds have definitely calmed down over the past few hours from this past weekend. But now we're going to move on into, we have our current conditions there, but we're going to go ahead and move on into our next graphic. Actually, we're not going to do that right now. 69 degrees is what we're sitting at, and we're going to take a look at those weather headlines. So we're still looking at that sun. That sun's going to stick around into tomorrow. But as we move later into the week, we're going to see that moisture creep back in with the approach of another cool front, which will also make our temperatures dive once again. So we're talking that Wednesday night possibly for that front to impact our area. But the satellite and radar is clear across the peninsula. You see these cool weather clouds over the Atlantic right now, and as well as in our area we are pretty much clear. And on the radar, see the time moving, but nothing going on down there. Down on the nature coast is where we saw that cool freezing temperatures. But for now, we're going to go ahead back over to the desk to talk a little bit about the super typhoon over in the western Pacific, rather.
Yeah, absolutely. And here in the Atlantic, we haven't really talked about too many major hurricanes. We've had two, but they haven't affected any land areas except Bermuda. They had to deal with Gonzalo, but yeah, Japan's been dealing with a lot of storms this year.
Yeah, Japan's been getting hit like week after week, it seems like. And now they have Super Typhoon Nuri at 180 miles per hour. That's
insane, folks. I mean, that wind speed is just so high. And speaking of which, there's been so many predecessors to it, like Haiyan and last year. And then we had Vongfong this year again. So they've just been really, really strong the past 2 years.
Absolutely. Those folks in Japan, we feel for them because they have been being affected by these massive super typhoons for the past few years.
Absolutely. And nothing to talk about here, but how about locally? No, we have no tropics. What else is going on, Nikki?
We got a whole bunch of cold weather on the way. That's what's going on, guys. But for right now, we're remaining nice and sunny. Actually reached a high of 70 degrees, so almost didn't even get to the 70-degree mark. We were almost sitting right in the 60s. Barely broke that, got all the way up to 70, which is actually quite below our average for this time of year. So a whole 7 degrees. So we were quite chilly for much of this evening, and you saw that as well as we moved in to today. Dropped it all the way down to a low of 30 degrees. So quite a chilly one today. Definitely not enjoying this weather. If you're maybe quite chilly sometimes, you definitely felt the chill for much of the day today. 62 right now, though, as you're sitting down for dinner. The skies are clear. It's going to be continuing to be that way as well as the remainder of this night goes on through. We'll start to drop things back down just a tad bit, and we'll start to see these conditions persist for the next day or two. So satellite and radar, we're seeing dry conditions, not a drop of rain. You can start to see some of the rain up in the top corner of your screen starting to approach the Big Bend area, actually much of the southeast. But for right now, we're hanging on to the dry weather until Wednesday when we'll start to see that front push on through. So here's the rain that we're talking about draped over much of the central United States. That'll be pushing on into much of the Texas region and actually moving off to the east as we continue with much of today. And we won't start to see this front actually make its way into the picture until Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. So here we go. Put this into motion. You can see the front starting to creep on through, but rather slowly. That high pressure that was sitting off the Charleston coast starts to push off, and the low pressure system over Texas develops. This will move on through and actually remain quite slow. The rain and thunderstorms will be ahead of this front, so it will be a wet front. Will not be dry. We definitely will see some rain associated with this cold front, and that low pressure system will hang on to the edge of this cold front as well as it moves on into our area. So this is Wednesday night, 6 p.m. We're still seeing this thing approach us. Nothing too close. We still have a couple states away, this cold front, but it'll make its way into our area into the early Wednesday night into Thursday morning as well. So tonight's forecast, dropping it all the way back down to 41. So almost out of the 40s, almost into the 30s. So it's going to be cold. If you are going outside, make sure you bring that jacket. But the skies will remain clear. So if you are hunting for the moon, maybe going on moon or stargazing out tonight, it's going to be a great night to do that. The winds will be calm, definitely chilly. So bring the blanket if you are going outside. Even maybe a sweater or two. If you're really, really cold, maybe even a coat. But the good news is tomorrow will warm right back up. Sunny day tomorrow, clear, warmer, so 76. So we're actually getting up a whole 6 degrees higher than we did today. And the wind will remain out of the east at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Our 7-day forecast, though, looking quite nice as well. You can see we go all the way up to 82 by Wednesday, Rain chances move back into the picture. Thursday, actually, we start to see 40% chance of rain come back on the board. Some rain, actually, I'm enjoying it because we haven't had rain for quite some time now. And look at those lows. We drop all the way down to 41 on Saturday. So it's going to be chilly for sure. And I'm looking forward to the cool weather. I'm hoping everyone is enjoying it as well. Jake, are you excited about the cooler conditions?
I'm quite excited about cooler conditions, Nikki. But the story you just gave for Tallahassee and around, the capital city region is going to be the same story for much of the southeast. Right now, things are pretty clear all around the board. But looking over there at the west, we see over Houston, extending all the way to New Orleans, we have cloud cover really starting to develop, and precipitation up there still, as she said, over the northwest, moving eastward right now. But currently 62 degrees, and this is pretty, we're not even really in the nighttime hours yet, so things are going to be dropping tonight, but not, the winds are going to make it so that our humidity will, the moisture will make it so that we don't have as much of a dip as we've seen over the past few days. Low 40s are expected, but here's a good look at the moisture content right now. 20 or 35% humidity in Tallahassee. Things are very, very dry ahead of this cold front off to the west. All around the southeast, Atlanta's at 26% humidity. Orlando's at 59. They're a little more moist down there as you move down southward over Florida, but very, very moist ahead of this cold front we'll be seeing. And over to the west, we see the moisture starting to return. It's sitting over Texas right now, moving over towards New Orleans, and it'll be here probably Wednesday night to Thursday morning is what we have it right now. Going to be bringing us increased chances for rain, and shortly after that into the weekend, temperatures are going to be dropping pretty sharply as we've noticed them do. But 3-degree temperature change in Tallahassee over the past 24 hours. Then you move off west, plus 9 degrees in New Orleans, and over there in Shreveport, plus 10 degrees. So another good look at this frontal boundary. Not a lot going on right now in the southeast, but that will change going over the next few days. Plus Atlanta, though, plus 11 in Atlanta is our temperature change over the past 24 hours. So got to keep our eyes on this front. But for tonight, not going to be quite as cold as we've seen over the past few weeks, or few days, excuse me. 44 degrees is the low, 59 in Orlando, but around the southeast, it's going to be low to mid-40s instead of seeing the temperatures dip into the 30s. I believe we saw as low as 30 degrees this morning in Tallahassee, but for tomorrow it's going to be a little warmer too, 77 degrees, around 68 in Atlanta, 73, so things starting to warm up into the week. And then as we move off towards the nighttime, tomorrow 52, so things are going to be warming up, much more seasonable as to what we would experience or expect to experience around the southeast. But Josh, from what I understand, we're seeing things warm up in the next few days, but we've seen snowfall in the Carolinas, right? Tell us more about that.
Absolutely, Jake. And I remember looking at the maps, and that Vort, we call it Vort Max, come that far south. I was like, whoa, man, what's behind that?
Yeah, we saw a lot of cool weather here, but definitely in the North Carolinas and in Carolinas themselves, they got a lot of snow.
I remember seeing reports on Twitter that the mountainous areas were getting like 2 feet of snow.
Mm-hmm. And there was actually some reported totals up all the way in Maine of nearly 15 inches of snow.
Wow, they had a nor'easter up there. That was, a good taste of a nor'easter type system for them. And those are just no fun.
No, it's definitely a warm-up for the season. Well, I wouldn't say a warm-up. It's more of a cool-down. 130,000 people were power was knocked out to it.
It's just no fun. I mean, you look at the weather and it's like it's really interesting to see these things, but then you got to look at, what's behind it. Just the power outages they have to deal with afterwards. It's not fun at all.
Mm-hmm. And more on what we're seeing around the country after this snowfall event, we're going to send it out to Braden.
Thank you, Matt. And they did see a lot of snowfall today, but I'm going to show you a bunch of interesting things. First, we'll start with our high temperatures. 70 in Tallahassee today. 78 is really the warmest spot in the country, so we have stayed quite cool. Not winter temperatures for up north, but definitely the temperatures that we have been seeing below average really across the board. 67 up in Kansas City, 47 in Denver and Salt Lake. I was just in Salt Lake a couple weeks ago. Really nice place. Hard to breathe, though. Really high up. 24-hour temperature change really showing the story where the cold front has passed. A temperature difference of 25 degrees in the last 24 hours in Denver. If you can imagine, that is quite colder than what we usually see out in Denver. And you can really see where that cold front has already moved through and started to cool down temperatures. As you can see over the last couple of days, there's been a warming trend over on the East Coast because of that. Now, wind direction really telling a good story again of where that front is. You see southerly winds coming up from the south, really into the southeast, really mostly in the eastern half of the country, but in the western half, winds starting to make their way out of the west behind that cold front. So you can really see, really just west of Minneapolis, between Minneapolis and Billings, right down that line is where you see where that front has already passed, has already started cooling down your temperatures, and has already, excuse me, has already started to cool down. I don't know why I'm having trouble here. Satellite really showing clouds starting to dissipate toward the center of the country. We did see that rain and snow further up north, really around Tennessee, out into Mississippi, but low clouds out in the center of the country really starting to dissipate, and that is good for them. Good to see some sunshine out there. And as we transition to the radar, still a couple light showers really down Minneapolis, Kansas City, all the way down to Albuquerque. Albuquerque and Phoenix, I'm sure, have gotten enough rain this year from Odile and Simon and other tropical systems. Vance might be coming your way. Stay tuned for that for the tropical segment. But into Canada and over the Great Lakes, just seeing a bunch of light rain, and even back into Seattle. So we'll zoom in and take a closer look at this. See into Minneapolis, Des Moines, Iowa, really into North and South Dakota is where you're getting the bulk of the rain. Heavier showers down into Kansas, starting to make their way into Missouri. So light showers are really what's associated with this front. I like this system right up here. You could really see that counterclockwise curvature as it goes around through Maine, down into New Hampshire, and into parts of Canada. But as we head back over to the West Coast, Seattle really getting drenched and has been over the last couple of days. And yeah, definitely getting a bunch of rain, heavier rain starting to dissipate now about by Vancouver International Airport. Tonight's forecast, 30s in the West Coast, 40 back down home in Tallahassee, 67 your warm spot, usually always down in Miami, below freezing out in Denver, sitting at 30 degrees, 51 out in the rainy city, Seattle right now. And for tomorrow, 70 out in Memphis, 79 in New Orleans, and just warming up is the overall trend over the next couple days. But we'll bring it back down locally. Josh is going to be talking about what we've got going on out in Tallahassee.
Absolutely. You know what? It looks just like that map right there. Plenty of sunshine to go around here in Tallahassee. So again, sunny today, sunny yesterday, sunny Saturday. Oh my goodness, sunny all weekend long. It felt great out there. It's going to be sunny again tomorrow. It starts to change late Wednesday as moisture begins to creep in with our next reinforcing front. We're getting like a reimbursement of cold air starting Friday. But right now, really, we'll start to see that moisture in late Wednesday into Thursday. 62 right now in Tallahassee. We're dropping. We're 69 the last hour. It's now 62 in Tallahassee, 58 Monticello. 50s are showing up on the map. So again, upper 30s possible in the outlying areas away from the city. But right in the low 40s near the city here in Tallahassee, 60s right near the coast. Satellite and radar. Nothing going on. Look at this. Not a rain shower to talk about. A few high clouds earlier today outside the city, but other than that, generally right clear. Crystal clear skies to talk about here around Tallahassee. Let's go through time with the winds, and you can see they're coming out of the northeast right now as that front moves out, our past air mass. Now let's go through time. We'll start to see the wind start to shift and come out of the east and southeast, which is what we expect as a front starts to approach our area. So it will start to moderate, get a little bit warmer, a little bit more humid as our next front arrives, and a good chance of rain coming in early Thursday with this front. Here's the front we're talking about across the central United States. It's going to slowly move. Remember the front we had last week? It was a quick mover. It came from the plains to here in about 24 hours. It was quick. This one's much slower. You can see through Wednesday, it's still west of us. And the rain starts to pick up. Again, we're moderating, not quick, but late Wednesday, possible couple thunderstorms early Wednesday, we'll see. But mainly late Wednesday night into Thursday morning is our best chance for rain. A decent chance, too. It starts to come up on the model, so we'll have to watch that closely as we head on later in the week. But for the beaches, it's going to feel a little bit more comfortable than it did today. Today was just a little bit too chilly for the beach, but the winds are going to start to die down. Surf 2 to 4 feet. Water temperature is still 82 degrees, even with the cold air we've had, so it's still pretty decent on the beach. UV index 11 with plenty of sunshine to go around and watch, and have the sunscreen handy if you're going to the beach tomorrow. And on the water, the same thing. Rather light winds, not too bad. Seas 2 to 4 feet. Predicted waters, moderate chop. So not too shabby for the boaters out there. For tonight, 41 in Tallahassee. Again, low 40s near the city. Maybe some upper 30s in the outlying areas, but we'll go low 40s across the entire Big Bend region, 42 in Quincy and 42 in Valdosta. For tomorrow, we're moderating again, so 76 in Tallahassee, plenty of sunshine to go around, so warmer, 75 in Quincy, 77 in Monticello, 78 in Valdosta. Winds out of the east at 5 to 10 miles an hour. For your 7-day, 76 tomorrow, 82 Wednesday, 20% chance of rain. Again, on Thursday is our best chance of rain, high of 77. What do you guys got back for us at the desk?
Well, Josh, thanks for the look there at the local, but we have colder temperatures coming in the next few days, and a lot of times, well, for today, we're going to bring weather words with Braden back, right? So we're going to talk about jet stream. This can be a driving force for a lot of colder air, temperatures, right?
Absolutely, and when we get into the coming days with the colder temperatures and the colder temperatures taking over the last couple of days, you might have heard on the television, maybe even with us, that there's been a dip in the jet stream. So the jet stream, it really is that driving force for the weather, and what it does is it brings all our systems, and it really controls where that cold air mass is going. So if the jet stream dips south due to the weather pattern, that's when we get that cold air, because the jet stream, those high winds in the upper levels, are what's driving that down to our area and bringing those colder temperatures.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing to think about this huge just tunnel of air bringing all this, dipping, and it can bring such drastic changes to us. But that's enough for weather words right now. We're going to bring it to look at Florida again, where things are still pretty warm, or cold for now, but they will be warming up, right?
Yeah, we are going to take a look at Florida, and like you were saying, with that dip in the jet stream over the last couple of days, we have gotten those colder temperatures, but they are luckily starting to warm up out in the Sunshine State, where we are seeing plenty of sunshine. 62 back home right now in Tallahassee, 57 out in Jacksonville. Warmer in the south along the coast, 73 out in Miami and West Palm Beach. But that warming trend, at least from yesterday, has really taken over. West Palm Beach, Tampa, 13-degree temperature change over the last 24 hours. A little cooler up north, so we are still seeing those cool temperatures, and they haven't increased quite that much. But really down south is where that temperature increase is profound, and it has started. So you see this. Looks like a picture. Nice picture, right? But it's not just a picture. It's moving. Time is going by, and nothing is showing up on our satellite and radar except for a couple of light clouds over on the left side of your screen. But it has been beautiful. The sunshine has been out. We hope you've been enjoying it. Had a jacket in the morning. Maybe we're able to shed it this afternoon, but it will continue to cool down tonight. Water vapor imagery, though, showing moisture starting to move back into our area. Not to high amounts, but if you look out back to Louisiana, that's where you're going to see a lot of moisture, and all the dry air that was overtaking our area was to our east. Again, with the satellite, a couple clouds coming in off the coast, a little sea breeze action. Not showing too much, though. Just those light clouds from the west, from the east, making their way into central Florida. Might see a couple of those clouds, but this is what we've been talking about. This cold front, low pressure sitting right behind it. And as we put this into motion, the low pressure, the high pressure right here is going to fade out, and the low pressure is going to make its way down into Texas over the tail end of that cold front, and rain and thunderstorms will be persistent starting Wednesday morning and making their way into Wednesday evening. Expect some rain with embedded thunderstorms excuse me, as we head out to the next couple of days. But tonight, still looking at the 40s in Tallahassee, 44, nowhere near as cool as last night, just 1 degree from a record last night, which is pretty sweet. 47 out in Jacksonville, warmer 60s, upper 60s down into Miami, West Palm Beach, and Key West, 60 out in Fort Myers, and out to the west, 53 in Pensacola. But tomorrow, look for those mid to upper 70s in our area, really in the north part of Florida into the Panhandle. But as you get down into the peninsula, lower 80s, it's going to be really nice. Enjoy the sunshine, maybe a couple clouds out in Pensacola. But other than that, we really are embracing the sunshine state today. So tomorrow night, That's when we're really starting to warm up, getting back into the lower 70s for your lows, feeling like summer down south. But up north, 52 in Tallahassee, 61 in Pensacola. But we have something in the tropics to talk about, not in the Atlantic, Josh, but in the Eastern Pacific. Vance is making an impact.
Well, first of all, let me talk about the Atlantic, sir, because that's where we are. So, but I can tell you in the Atlantic, it's nothing but the big old Q. Quiet, absolutely quiet in the Atlantic. Nothing really to talk about in the Atlantic. Again, he was saying the Eastern Pacific. We'll get that in just a second. We've gone through Hannah this year, and right now it's quiet. If we get to the ice storm, it'll be Isaias. But right now, we're not looking for that anytime soon. Plenty of fronts to go around. Here's Vance. It's a Category 2 hurricane in the Eastern Pacific. And you can see where this trough is to its west. And that's going to start to shear it and steer it northeast into Mexico, where they've gotten plenty of rainfall this year with about 3 hurricanes this year. So this is just more rainfall to go into Mexico and eventually the desert southwest in the United States. They've had plenty of monsoon rains to go around this year as well. So let's move on, and you can get a close-up look at it. Nice little eye feature here, but that will be long gone eventually over the next few days. Here's the water vapor imagery across the Gulf of Mexico, and take a look. Plenty of shear going around here and dry. Just you don't see much moisture going on. The moisture is off to the west associated with Vance, and it's coming in. It's continuing to stream in there. But let's take a look in Tallahassee again. You can see the high clouds to our west and just a little bit over us, but otherwise it's pretty dry in the mid to upper levels. And it translates perfectly to the surface. Not a cloud in the sky to talk about here across the entire Big Bend region. And take a look at the temperatures in the 50s across southern Georgia, and they'll be back in the 30s tonight. So with not much clouds and light winds, you can really get the temperatures to drop. So there we go, 34 in Macon, Georgia, 40 in Albany, 42 in Dothan, and 44 here in Tallahassee. Not too shabby. A little chilly if you're going to have early morning classes, so have the jacket handy. It'll definitely feel a little cool with all the cooling coming off of the ground. Plenty of time to use for that. 47 in Jacksonville again. Oh, look at that. 58 in Tampa. I don't know about you guys. I'd be enjoying that. That's perfect this time of year in Tampa and Central Florida. 59 in Orlando as well. For tomorrow, we'll be moderating again. So in the 70s across the Big Bend region. 77, here's what we're going for Tallahassee. Again, I like the icon here, though. Plenty of sunshine. 75 in Panama City. 75 in Pensacola. 70s across southern Alabama and southern Georgia. And again, in Central Florida, hope you enjoyed the 60s this weekend, because guess what? We're starting to see the 80s pop back up on the map. 82 in Tampa, 81 in Orlando, 78 in Gainesville, and 76 in Jacksonville. Plenty of sunshine to go around. All right, right now we're going to go back to the desk with Jake and Braden.
Thank you very much, Josh. And you know, tomorrow is a very special day. One of the few days that we get to fulfill our civic duties as citizens. Tomorrow is Election Day, and we have a forecast for you as you're going out to the polls.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Tomorrow, as we're waking up in the morning, looking at about 41 degrees Fahrenheit, so things are going to still be pretty nippy out there. Not quite as cold as we've been experiencing, but then about midday, around 3:30, things are going to warm up to around 76 degrees, so things are going to warm up pretty dramatically. And about by the end of voting time, which is what, 7 p.m.?
Yeah, about 7 p.m.
Yeah, things should be about 65 degrees. So.
All right. And for those of you who don't know, just a little bit of voting information. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if you work that 9 to 5 job, you still have plenty of time to go out to the polls and cast your vote. And also, just in case you don't know where your precinct is, if you are living at FSU on campus or in the immediate vicinity of campus, your polling place is going to be Sally Hall, the residence hall on the west side of campus.
Oh, there you go. So it's actually interesting to think about how certain forecasts could affect voter turnout, isn't it?
Absolutely. You can think back to a couple years where there has been heavy rain, and that has affected the voter turnout, especially back when early voting wasn't as big a factor in the elections.
Well, we gave you a brief look at the local for tomorrow's election, but for now, we're actually going to go out and take a broader look at things. I mean, for right now, we took a look at the futurecast temperatures. Tomorrow or tonight at 8 p.m., we're going to be sitting at 52 degrees as the forecast right now in Tallahassee. All around the board, that's pretty much the story, except by the coast where things are a little bit warmer. See 56 degrees down there and 61 degrees at Apalachicola, but we expect those coastal regions to be a little bit warmer as we advance this towards tomorrow morning. Things are going to be dropping into the low 40s and then moving on even closer tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit warmer with the mid-60s as the big trend all around the Big Bend region and Capital City. And then moving on towards Wednesday, we're going to see those temperatures start to rise more generally with might even reach 80 on Wednesday or lower 80s as the high. But the dew points right now, this is a good indicator of moisture. The farther away the dew point is from the actual temperature, is a good tell of how moist things are. So 38 degrees, and then we notice them go back up as we're going to have onshore flow coming in as the winds turn from the north to the south over the next few days. And all around the Big Bend, through the next few days, we're going to see the dew points going back up. Moisture is going to return, and then that's actually going to keep our temperatures from dropping too much into the low 30s over the next few days. But this is a good look at the southeast once again. Tallahassee sitting right here, all around clear skies right now, but over to the west, we still have that front moving in. It's going to be a potential rain producer over the next few days as it advances off towards the east, still making a little bit of precipitation over by the central U.S., extending all the way from Texas down here to New Orleans. But right now, as we're looking at the local radar, nothing to tell right now. Very clear, no precipitation, no clouds really. There are some clouds developed around Florida right now from onshore action, but there's nothing going on right now, but that will change over the next few days. But looking up there as we progress up till now, we haven't seen any clouds today. At least nothing. I saw a few, can't say that off on the horizon as I was coming, but nothing too significant. But for tonight, calm winds and cool conditions, actually cold conditions through the evening, because we're not going to have much the moisture, the winds bringing the moisture in are really going to be the biggest reason that our temperatures don't drop too much. So lower to mid 40s around the board is what we're calling for right now, with 41 degrees in Tallahassee for tonight. Tonight's forecast, 42 over there in Perry. So really 40s all around the board. And then for tomorrow, easterly winds. That's a good thing to look at, because as they move from north to south, we're going to see more moisture and higher temperatures. But right now, we're going to have mid 70s around the board. It's going to be clear, but warmer tomorrow. So we got to keep our eyes on that. And then for the 7-day, things are going to be warming up a little bit over till Thursday. We have 82 on Wednesday as the high. But then take a look at the weekend as we move into homecoming. Things are going to be dipping pretty sharply into the weekend, 70 degrees, and then the low sitting at 41 degrees on Saturday as another cooler and drier air mass moves in to the capital city region. But speaking of homecoming, this year's homecoming, I believe, is titled Fueling the Fire. Am I correct?
You are correct, Jake, and homecoming is in full force. And I know you, a big fan, you were definitely at that Big Sean concert last night.
Oh, I wasn't even in town last night, but I heard it was fantastic. A great way to open up the homecoming this year, right?
For sure, and you know, tonight the fun never ends. Spirit Night starts right after this show at 6:30, so just in a couple minutes. Bunch of fun events going on. Got the talent showcase and the biggest fan on campus. So let's see people coming out with their beads, garnet and gold, you know, really showing the school spirit.
Yeah, we're going to have temperatures tonight sitting around 54 degrees, so things are a lot more moderate than we saw moving over the past few days, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, some rain chances Wednesday into Thursday, but once we get into Friday into Saturday, that homecoming game looking free and clear. And after that big win at Louisville, hopefully we can keep it going for the rest of the season, and we'll be straight.
We have a 6:30 p.m. kickoff this weekend, right?
Yeah, that's right. But always make sure to follow us on social media. Like us on Facebook.com/FSU Weather. Follow us on Twitter.com/FSU Weather. Watch us anytime on Livestream.com/FSU Weather. Also, send us your homecoming pictures to Instagram.com/FSU Weather as we go into the coming weeks. It's a great week. You know, there's a singing competition tonight too, Jake.
Oh, I'm sure you're going to be participating.
Oh, of course. You know, thank you for joining us for FSU Weather, and have a wonderful evening.